We have Mike Story, another one of our classmates, to present this morning. We know Mike as the PG guy, as the bad joke guy, the wonderful piano player. But also he is a hiker and a walker and does lots of exercise to keep in shape with his sylph body. And he's ready to present a special lesson to us today. Thank you, Mike.
Well, good morning and thank you. I didn't know it was a special lesson, but it is a lesson. This morning, I'd like to share with you my relationship with an organization called AL-ANON, which is a program that I have been attending for years. And I'd like to share with you the elements of this program and especially the emphasis it places on a strong faith in God. And finally, and what's really helped keep me in the program, the wisdom that it shares in dealing with relationships with others. Again, the theme, well, there's some background. There are two global programs for dealing with alcoholism. One is AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, for alcoholics, and the second is AL-ANON, which is an organization for families and friends of alcoholics. Now, both are really spiritually based programs, not religious, because they want it open to everyone. They are spiritually based, as you will see. Both use a 12-step process for recovery. For the alcoholic or for really anyone. And I'm going to cover those 12 steps today with some perspective. Some background on me. I grew up in a household with an alcoholic. My mom was an alcoholic. It turns out that 1/3 of American families are affected by alcoholism, and 20% of individuals grew up in a home shared with an alcoholic. I started attending Al-Anon as an adult to better understand how to deal with an alcoholic in the family, but I continued to attend Al-Anon meetings after my mom died for two reasons. One was alcoholism was present in the next generation of my family, but second, and probably more importantly, the wisdom and the serenity the program offered me in dealing with many issues in life, especially relationship with others. I attended Al-Anon meetings in most cities that we have lived in, including Singapore. Like I said, it's international. Turns out there's 24,000 Al-Anon programs nationally and about 12,000 programs in the U.S. There's many in this area, and I currently attend an Al-Anon program in Roswell. And in our meetings, we focus on the 12 steps for recovery. Each week, we move to a different step, and then we go back again through it. And so I'm going to talk about the 12 steps, but what's important, one of the reasons I'm here today, is to emphasize the spiritual basis and the faith in God that is important in these steps, and also emphasizing the wisdom that it provides for us and dealing with relationships with others, anyone, not just an alcoholic, but anyone. And that's part of what has kept me coming back to Al-Anon meetings. And once again, before I start through the steps, I want to reinforce It's a very spiritual program with strong faith in God based, but it's not considered religious. They want it open to all religions. I want to start with something that we open every meeting with, and it's called the Serenity Prayer. And it's short, but here it is. Hugh, oh my God, good work. Hugh is invaluable. He's invaluable. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. We importantly with this, and I'll mention what's important, I think, on each step also, we begin our meetings, again, spiritually, with a prayer to God. Al-Anon meetings begin with this prayer to God. And it reinforces that we accept the things that we cannot change. We accept that. But we work positively on the things we can change. And as you will see, there's a theme in Al-Anon about working on changing your own behavior. The more you focus on trying to change someone else's behavior, the more you're not going to really get anywhere. Focus on changing your own behavior. Now, as the oldest of 5 kids, an officer in the Army, and a manager for 33 years with Procter & Gamble in product supply, I thought I could manage anything and everything. If there was an issue with somebody, I can manage that. But this program really warns you against thinking you can manage or should manage other people. Manage yourself. And it was a big lesson for me. Not an easy one, but a big lesson to focus on myself. Don't focus on trying to manage other people. Now, the 12 steps. First steps. Again, I'm going to repeat myself here, but in the 12 steps, what was important to me was the importance of faith in God and using the 12 steps to manage yourself. So, there's a theme of achieving serenity, which is really a peace of mind with yourself by doing that. Step 1. Good work again, Hugh. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol and that our lives had become unmanageable. Like I said, this is the first step for Al-Anon and AA, but it's a bedrock step that basically starts with admitting that there are things in our lives we're powerless over. And, for an Al-Anon, if you have a family member who's an alcoholic, you're powerless over what that relationship with that person is with alcohol. So and other things, don't go try and manage someone else's business that in general. So that's number 1. Admitted we were powerless over alcohol and that our lives had become unmanageable. It's our starting point. 2 and 3 really here, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Now here is this global program dealing with alcoholism, but it focuses on, in the second step, believing that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And then as you can see in step 3, it names that power as the care of God. I've got it in red up there, but this global program and the spirituality that they mention, they refer to turning to God so frequently. But what these steps mean here is a conscious, wholehearted bending and merging our energies with God's will. And it's important to constantly reaffirm and renew this until it becomes a part of our nature, and we want our impulsive behavior to gradually disappear by doing these 2 steps. And again, I'm going to repeat myself, but this reference to God and how many times it's mentioned in these 12 steps is the foundation for my belief in the power of the spiritual basis found in the AL-ANON program. Step 4. Now we start working on ourselves. We've come to grips with some things, decided to take some steps forward, and step 4, making a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Focus on ourselves. If you're having relationship issues, if you're having difficulties with others, focus on yourself. Don't focus on what's wrong with that other person or organization. It's so important to do this and do it honestly, and it is so easy. This is not easy because, one, it's so natural and easy to deny our faults, not be honest with ourselves, self-justify, do we hold grudges? Do we get hurt easily? Do we have resentments? Do we always think that we're always right? Look for ways in this to examine yourself versus examining others. Examine yourself. And if you do find faults, which we all have them, and you should be looking for them if you've got some relationship or some issues to work through, if you do find faults, think about getting ready to do something about them. That's step 4. Step 5, again, starting off with reaffirming the spiritual basis of this program, admitted to God, to ourselves, the exact nature of our wrong. So this is after you've identified faults that you have found by going back and taking a look at yourself. You share. You need to be ready once you find them. The program suggests that you share these faults with God and others. It's hard to do that, but it is so important if you really want accountability for your wrongs. And this is all part of a definite movement towards a healthier attitude towards life. Admitting to God and to others what you found with your own faults. Step 5. Step 6. Okay, now you found these faults and you've taken a good inventory of yourself. You've been honest about it. And now you're ready, again, the spiritual basis, this very strong spiritual basis of this program. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. And you're now open to His help in dealing with these issues. So that's step 6. It's kind of self-explanatory, just ready to have God.
Mike, can I ask a question?
Yes, sure.
I'm curious, they are all stated in the past tense.
Yeah, that's just.
I expected, present tense. I admit.
Yeah, I probably could be using the present, but these are steps that you went through.
You've already been through them.
Yeah, you went, well, you can put them in the present tense, but, Garland, you got any perspective on that? Okay. Okay.
I think it's more like statements.
You are, yeah, it's assuming you've gone through the 12 steps.
No, it's just statements.
Okay, yeah.
Present, we're entirely,
Yeah,
I think it's a statement.
But anyway, entirely ready to have God you're ready to have Him remove all these. You found what's your issues. You shared them with God, and now you're ready to have Him help you remove these defects of character. Yes, Nancy.
Well, having it in present tense, these things that we have that are defects or whatever are usually ongoing. I mean, we've had them a long time, and they don't go away just immediately. So we're always needing to ask
in the present tense.
Yes,
You know, to take that away.
Well
And
said.
I think that's why, I did a study, using the 12 steps for, a spiritual.
oh,
Not with the alcohol, but using it, and I can't remember.
Okay.
It really was very good, but it was all present tense, because those things don't just evaporate.
yeah, well, the program talks about keeping the future and how you manage yourself in the present and the future, but good point, Nancy, thank you. Step 7, once again, unbelievable help from Hugh here. Again, another just super strong reference to God and the spirituality of this program. Humbly ask Him to remove our shortcomings. Okay, you've identified your issues, and now you're to work with God on removing our shortcomings. Again, it just reinforces your strong belief of a power greater than ourselves. And to release our shortcomings, a permanent contact with a higher power is critical, or God as we know Him. But we've asked Him, God, I've identified this, identified my issues, and my issues in dealing with others, and now, and my shortcomings, and will you work with me now, God, on removing these shortcomings? 8, step 8.
One question first.
Yeah, Hugh.
In terms of removing shortcomings, is it in relation to the person who has an alcoholic problem, or is it just in general?
Well, Al-Anon, or Alcoholics Anonymous,
Yeah.
it's specifically related to an alcoholic
Right,
asking for
right.
help. Al-Anon is related to your dealing with your alcoholic, but also really in general, your problems in general. Is that?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that leads to a lot more shortcomings.
Yeah.
In
but-
May, anyway.
But like I mentioned, for me,
Yeah,
it's what's really helped the in general part, shortcomings in general,
okay.
and dealing with people and looking at my relationship with them and reacting to things. It's in general versus just with an alcoholic. So
Okay.
that's what's kept me coming. The wisdom of dealing with your own issues.
Okay.
The wisdom of how to deal with those and the
Okay.
importance of it versus just about a relationship with the alcoholic. So good question, Hugh. Thank you.
Mike,
Yes.
one other personal experience,
Okay.
Can we ask them to stand up, because we can't
Oh.
hear them.
Okay, yeah. Tom, can you?
They would love for you to come to the speaker because they can't hear you.
Or you repeat what they say.
Or I repeat, one of the two.
assuming that I can still walk.
Oh,
Speaking from my own personal experiences, many of you in the class have had a similar experience, I'm sure. The beauty of Al-Anon to me was bringing me in contact with other people that experienced exactly the same problem that Martha and I were dealing with. And having that community of mutual support was a strength in what we're talking about here.
yeah, well said. Okay. One thing about that, just that there is every meeting we go to, they talk about the confidentiality of anything that you hear in the meeting is considered to stay in the meeting. You don't talk about who's in the meeting, very confidential. But yeah, good point, Tom. I see it. Larry,
Yeah, my
I'm getting a lot of help here.
personal experience, these 12 steps also apply to those who've been involved in narcotics.
Okay.
Narcotics Anonymous.
Good point. Good
And
point.
young people, including some of my family, have been involved in this, and it's a tremendous drug, overwhelming problem in this country.
Yes,
And
yeah.
Al-Anon also.
Do you know if it's the same 12 steps, Larry?
Yeah,
Okay, oh, well, I think I knew that, but, okay, the next, now we're getting to, some requirements that are not easy, but strongly recommended. Again, it's focusing on us and our relationship with others, in Al-Anon. And Alcoholics Anonymous, it would apply directly to the alcoholic. We made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Now, this is not easy to do, because how many of us want to recognize that we had actually harmed or hurt others, but most of us have at one time. And this is a step towards serenity for everyone, not just the alcoholic. But if you want the spiritual growth that this program offers, it's critical to recognize and deal with where and when and how you may have hurt others. And not easy, but this is a step that the 12 steps ask you to do, making a list of all persons we had, and then became ready and get ready for the next step after that, became willing to make amends to them all. Now, yes,
In
Claudia.
reference to that, one of my favorite news sayings that I heard, it was on that old movie, I think it was Wall Street 2, Gordon Gekko, I think. But he was estranged from his from his son, I'm sorry. And at the end of the movie, he went and he said, I can't make things right, but I can make them better. Please let me. And
Yeah.
I always felt like it
Well-
was all or nothing, perfect.
Well said, well said.
It was.
Repeat it.
Can you repeat it?
I can't make
No.
things
Let me do it.
Okay, I can't make things
right.
right, I can make things better.
Yeah.
But it means going back and making things better. Thank you very much, Claudia. Number 9, make direct amends. Once you get your list of people, to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would hurt them. Again, would injure them or others. So take the time when you've made your list, if you can, just make a lot of effort to go to these people and make amends to them. And probably most of us at some time have someone that we've, through ER neglect or ill temper or harsh treatment or not shared responsibilities on a team, we may have hurt someone. There's a condition though, occasionally, and I don't want to go through too many of these, but there's occasionally where making amends to somebody might hurt someone else. You know, someone might, you don't want to share, well, I had an affair with this person, and, you know, and that person, you don't want to hurt someone else by making amends. So avoid hurting someone else as you make amends. Okay, so that's a direct step once you have made your list of people that you're going to make amends to. Now you've done this, you've identified your faults, you've identified people you've injured, you've taken steps to repair what you can repair with some conditions. And now we're on step number 10. We're in the present. And it says continue, and I like what Shaw says, think of this as present versus past. Continue to take personal inventory, and we were wrong, admitted it. Okay, we're all human, and you've gone through the 9 steps so far. You've done a lot of the right things, but we need to continue to evaluate our behavior, because if we don't, we're probably going to be making the same kind of mistakes before and not doing anything about it. So the key of this step is recognizing and admitting when you have behavior mistakes, especially those that may affect your relationship with others. Do it sooner rather than later. They give an example in one of the things I read about if someone upset you, Could you have just prayed quietly versus answering angrily at them, or not responded at all? But just think about how you respond angrily if somebody upsets you. So that's step 10. Step 11, and again, another thing I just reinforce again and again is the power of the spiritual basis of this whole program, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God, praying only for His knowledge, His will for us, and the power to carry that out. Again, emphasizing the power and the faith of God, and the important reference to have Him guide us, and the importance of being closer to our higher power. Now that can be a challenge, but and again, it gets back to the spiritual basis, but the emphasis that this step places and the program places on being close to our higher power, being close to God, and have Him help us through our issues. Just another amazing example of the Faith in God Foundation for Al-Anon in general. Step 12. And this is the final step, but there's an assumption by following these steps. We've had a spiritual awakening, again, the foundation, the faith foundation of these steps, and tried to carry this message to others. For me, I honestly feel like, and this is the reason I continue to attend Al-Anon meetings, is that I have had a spiritual awakening and understanding and utilizing these steps. The wisdom in them and the faith in God part of them just never ceases to amaze me personally. I think importantly with Al-Anon, it's provided me with a sense of serenity I would have not had, especially in contact with alcoholic and others who are not easy for me to get along with. I've just found myself looking at the steps, and when something happens that gets on my nerves, a completely different way to look at it versus snapping at the person or getting on them. It's just another way to look at it. And then try to carry this message to others. I have never talked about my membership in Al-Anon before to any group or anything like that. I'm not really trying to carry this message to others. It's more to share the spiritual foundation, but this is part of carrying this message to others. So that's the 12 steps, and then let's see here, I've got a little bit of time left, so we have 7 slogans that we use and I really like, and I want to just go through the 7 slogans. Look at Hugh. I mean, my God, he's amazing. Yay, go Hugh. Okay, first slogan, let go and let God. This slogan encourages members to release their need to control or fix others and instead trust in a higher power. 2, live and let live. This helps members focus on their own recovery and avoid interfering in the lives of others. 3, keep it simple. This reminds members to avoid overthinking and to focus on the basics of the program. Don't make it more complicated than it is or needs to be. 4, just for today. This encourages members to live in the present moment and not worry about the past or future. Focus on the present. Don't get caught up in what needs to happen in the future or caught up in what happened in the past. 6, progress, not perfection.
Nope.
What? Did I skip one?
Yep.
Oh, easy does it, sorry. 5, easy does it. Thank you, Garland. I appreciate that. I appreciate that intervention, yeah. Easy does it. See, I'm learning. Easy does it. This encourages members to pace themselves in their recovery journey and avoid pushing things too hard. And, you know, we've got a lot of successful people in here, and we're so used to pushing things hard to get things done. Jeff, oh, never mind. Progress, not perfection. This reminds members that recovery is a journey, not a destination. It's a journey. And that it's okay to make mistakes along the way. If, you know, something turns out that it's not right and what you were trying to do, just look at it as a learning for progress, but don't get upset because you weren't perfect in trying to do what you're trying to do. And then finally, one day at a time, and this is very similar to Just for Today, it helps members focus on the present and not get overwhelmed with the challenges of recovery. Okay, so in closing, my goal here today is to share these 12 steps in AA and Al-Anon, and I'm not, to be clear, and I think you know this, I'm not recruiting for the program. It's just, the program is, and I found out about, you know, it reminded me of Narcotics Anonymous, but the programs are really designed for people who are dealing with directly either in an alcoholic or dealing with an alcoholic. That's where I'm not recruiting for the program. I'm just sharing with my fellow Sunday school class the spiritual basis of it and the wisdom it's provided for me. And everything that it has taught me. And so I'd like to, before I see if there's any more comments or questions, I'd like to close with the serenity prayer. Let's bow our heads in prayer. God, please grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Okay, any comments or questions or anything somebody would like to add? Yes, sir.
How often do you meet?
How often do what?
You meet.
Oh, gosh, that was in my notes. We meet once a week. Once a week. And I think I mentioned it, but each week we go through different steps. So we did step 5 last week. We go to step 6, and the meetings are conducted. There's 2 people that are asked who are members of the group. One is to manage the program for a month, but then we have another member each week get up and talk about their experience or their insight into that particular step. And it's amazing what people can share about their learnings. Yes?
I was wondering about similar programs that are held here at our church.
He was wondering about similar programs that are
At
held at our
RUMC, does
church.
RUMC support Al-Anon?
Oh, yeah, they're all in our meetings all the time.
Here.
Down in the counseling center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the counseling center, Mike.
Yeah.
It's been there for years, I think.
Okay, they're saying there's a, one down at the the counseling center. Yeah, been there for years, yeah.
I point out that there are meetings, many meetings a day, all over the city, all over.
Yeah, well, yeah, like I said, there's 12,000 of these groups in the US, and I bet you there's 20 plus in the Atlanta area. And in fact, where I go, people quite often attend more than one meeting a week, and they have other locations that they go to, so.
Well, our counseling center addresses all kinds of addiction problems.
Okay.
Not only alcohol, there are any number of them. There's
Yeah,
one
Tom
the other day I heard about was addiction to overeating. Now, that makes-
Tom mentioned that we have an excellent counseling center down here and part of our UMC, and it helps, it has meetings for all sorts of addictions, including overeating.
Yeah, that's what I have
Yeah, yes.
heard.
I just want to say thanks to you, Mike.
Oh.
So many times it's swept under the rug and people do not share. And through my difficult times, Paul, it was people from the class who came to me and said, I'm here for you, this is what I've been through. And it was wonderful to know that there are others who cared and were willing to share. So thank you.
You're welcome.
She said, yeah, for what she went through, this is really meaningful to her. Okay, anyone else? Yes, Annette.
As a child, my father was an alcoholic.
Okay.
And I wonder.
I'll repeat, she said as a child, I mean, her father, she grew up with an alcoholic father.
And when I was 12 years old, I found Jesus Christ, which saved me, literally. But
You found what?
I found Jesus Christ.
Oh, okay, she found, at 12 years old, she found Jesus Christ, which was what helped her deal with her father as an alcoholic.
But I wondered, are there any children, I mean, I know I grew up in a small town, and had I had the opportunity to go, I was really involved in our church, but if there was a teenage type group that some teenagers might be able to go to, you know, that's something I've always wondered.
Yeah, there's,
AL-ANON.
yeah, there is one called AL-ANON. Yeah.
I was just curious if, because it certainly would have helped me growing up, but I
Right.
didn't know, you know, I just wondered.
Yeah, we also have a closing that says, when one reaches out for the help, let Al-Anon or Al-Ateen always be there. So, yeah. Okay, well, thank you. Wow, there's, it's amazing to me how many people can share similar backgrounds and experiences, and, yeah. Larry, is that, again?
Yeah, I think every family, if you go back hundreds of generations, there's somebody probably that's had a problem with alcoholism or narcotics, unfortunately in our country.
Well, yeah, well,
In
like it.
reality, we don't admit it, but it's.
Well, like I said, a third of families grew up in a home that's shared with an alcoholic relative, but that's shared. So if you go back a couple of generations, I'll bet it is, you know, in 80% have had that. So, yeah. Okay, anything else? Oh, yes,
The Serenity Prayer that you're referencing,
yes.
that's the shortened version, isn't it? There's more to the Serenity Prayer. If you Google it, which I have, there's, I don't know, paragraph after paragraph.
Oh, well, this is the serenity prayer we use. So,
It's the
God
same.
grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
I'm
And you're
agreeing
saying,
with that, but there's more to that prayer.
okay, in our Al-Anon meeting,
Yeah.
this is the prayer we use.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. And thanks to he helped put these together.
Thank you, Mike. Excellent job. You see the treasures we have in our class? It's amazing, you know? Again, I want to thank the program committee for reaching out to Mike and getting him to talk about this great subject this morning. You know, today is a marvelous day. Today is absolutely a marvelous day. Beautiful sun, gonna be over 90 degrees. Gonna be over 90 degrees. Gonna be a beautiful day. What is, you need to focus on two things. One, this is the day that God has made. Let us rejoice and be glad. But it's also the longest day of the year. So you have more sunlight today to enjoy the light of the Lord. So it's actually the 22nd of June. And if you look at your Google or whatever you check, your phone, you're going to find that the sunset is actually after 9 o'clock tonight. So enjoy the day. have a great day, go worship, go over to the chapel if that's your desire. Take advantage of all the things. Look online at RUMC. And final reminder, if you are not getting our weekly newsletter, let us know so we can double check your spam. You can double check your spam folder, your junk email folder, because we do send it out every week. Sue works hard to get that out by Thursday or Friday, and you should be getting it. So if you have information to share, that's the best way to get it out to the class. But again, I want to share one quick story about Mike's story, okay? We meet on Wednesday mornings in our men's group. And last winter, Bob Moore, in his infinite wisdom, started referring to the fact that we all wore jackets to the meetings in the winter, except for Mike. And so Bob started this tradition. Every Wednesday, we would ask Mike, no jacket, no jacket, no jacket. So I want to credit him because I think he made it the whole winter with no jacket. Thank you, Mike. Enjoy your day. Have a great, blessed Sunday.